So, I am Sz.Berlin. Sz.Berlin has its roots in Berlin, funny enough. In 2007, I was visiting, and I saw a big sign in the centre of Berlin, Schmerzzentrum Berlin, Pain Centre Berlin. Now, for Germans, that's logical. You have a pain, you go to the pain centre. But for non-Germans, that's bizarre, slightly sinister, and artistically very, very appropriate, very interesting. Because Sz.Berlin began as a duo, and the main theme that we had at the start was East Germany and the Warsaw Pact. And we came out of industrial music. And industrial music is often, there is a tendency towards the right wing in industrial music. And as a kind of response to that, we went the other direction. So we would project films of East German military exercises, really exploring that East German military futurism, that legacy. So that's where Sz.Berlin comes from. It was originally a duo. And in 2010, I visited Belgrade and I met an old friend there who's a curator. And he told me about a location in Bosnia called Konjic. Konjic, for many years, wasn't on the map. I mean, it was a small town, but what was there, what was really there, wasn't known. Because between 1952 and 1979, Yugoslavia created a bunker inside a mountain. That was designed to hold 300 of the Yugoslav elite for 6 months in the event of a nuclear war. They were supposed to survive in this complex. This is the most megalomaniac, technically advanced project of Yugoslavia. One reason Yugoslavia had so many debts was these kind of projects. There was also the underground airbase at Jeljevo, but Konjic was the ultimate. Anyway, these artists in Sarajevo decided to make an artistic biennial in the bunker in Konjic. So when I heard about this, with our interest in Cold War aesthetics, okay, we have to do something here. So I went there with some other artists, we visited, and I didn't have a clear plan for what we would do. But I recorded the sounds obsessively. I recorded the sounds of the ventilators, of the metal doors, gas burners, anything that had any resonance within that massive bunker, I recorded. Then went back to London, and we spent the whole winter working on these sounds, rendering. We create a basic pattern, we play it again on 6 channels, we re-record it, we keep re-recording, we keep playing. And the concept emerged that we would make a sonic simulation of the 25 kiloton nuclear detonation that bunker was designed to survive. So we take the sounds of the bunker and we put it into dialogue with what it was designed to experience. So I'm going to play you some of the installation footage from that in 2011. This is processed, it's not raw footage, but it gives you some idea. If it's too loud, tell me. Especially you can't communicate that the peak, this ran for 7 minutes each time, and at the peak, which was probably 5.5 minutes, the sensation that we had was the air being ripped open above us. So like the sound of a ripping curtain, but on an infinitely larger scale. We were resident in that tunnel for 7 days, and on the Friday night we performed in the tunnel. We didn't perform the blast, we performed our usual East German military material until we were asked to stop. Who asked us to stop? The resident Bosnian military personnel. The artists were fine with it, but for them it was too much. We also had a visit, because this was open during the week, many artists, many visitors came. There was a woman from Konjic, and there was fighting in Konjic during the Bosnian War. And we played this for her, and she had a total catharsis. So she was crying on the shoulder of my colleague because it brought up so many memories of what she had experienced during the war in Bosnia. That wasn't our intention. Our intention was to relate to the bunker, but it was an interesting side effect, a bit like how some people responded to Don's work. So yeah, this is where we started as an artistic unit. Before that, we were just performing industrial music with backing films. And then from this stage onwards, we start to go more into the art world. And we're neither of us are trained artists, now it's just me. And I also have the collaboration with Panic that you saw in the exhibition last night. And he's a trained filmmaker. And when I moved to Croatia 5 years ago, he was my first visitor. He had his professional filming equipment with him. And we started filming all the industrial ruins that I'm surrounded by. And we've also filmed a lot in Rijeka. And I want to give you a quote, or not exactly a quote, but a concept from the German Marxist theorist Ernst Bloch. He talked about searching for gold amongst the rubble. And this is a theme in my and our work, that we come into spaces like Konjic, we come into the ruins in Western Rijeka, into Torpedo, into Remisa, and we find something artistically, but also potentially spiritually valuable. Because us being pure and refusing to engage with this material doesn't make it go away. So since it's there, why not explore it, why not interact with it, why not have a dialogue with these spaces? So what we're doing now is working more and more with spaces in XU. We will probably do something in London sooner or later, although there are not so many of these spaces left in London. But it's an ongoing artistic research project. And then finally, I was thinking this morning, I want to explain a little about what I will do tonight. And the audiovisual performance tonight was originally given in London in 2019. And it's about brutalist architecture in Britain. And brutalist architecture as a kind of folk demon. So brutalism has become very fashionable in the last 10, 15 years. And a lot of people adore it uncritically. I adore it aesthetically in some ways, but I can also see how it went wrong, the future shock that it generated, and also here in Yugoslavia, because the architecture here was very radical, and I think that actually alienated a lot of the population. So when nationalism starts to rise, they want simple answers, simple solutions. They don't want this alienating mega brutalist complexes. They want something simple. So that performance was given in 2019. I'm presenting it here again. It's a slightly reworked version. But I was thinking this morning, isn't it odd to be presenting that in a planetarium in Rijeka? But then I was thinking some more, no, it's not odd at all. Because concrete is also rubble. Concrete is cosmic rubble, as we are. It's detritus. It's the various, iron, whatever, all these elements which are in cosmic background, compressed into concrete. And it's also the day of light here. And light in the nuclear blast But also I was thinking about concrete light, because concrete is the opposite of light. It's grey, it's dismal, it's dark. But that doesn't mean that it can't be radiant in a way. And so I think it makes sense to present this actually here in the planetarium, because there is a cosmic aspect to destruction and to concrete. And it makes sense as concrete as cosmic leftover. And also finally, that architectural brutalism in the West and the East was a kind of Promethean gesture. This was really probably the peak of technoculture, trying to, metaphorically, trying to reach for the stars. So in a way this is coming home. It actually makes sense that it's happening on a day of light in a post-industrial city, in a planetarium that used to be a military facility. So, as I said, Berlin, I'd say thanks to the organisers, thanks to the hosts, and Sz.Berlin feels at home.